Have you ever pulled up to a stop sign and heard a loud squeaking coming from your brakes? If you own your own car and need your brakes replaced, can you do it yourself? How much would you pay someone else to do for it? $300? $400? What if I told you the basics and you did it yourself? How much money and time would you save? Today I'm going to be covering, in what my opinion, why you should do it yourself, what you need to get started, some basic tools, as well as some protection equipment, as well as how to actually change the brake pads yourself. So why change your own brake pads? Change your own brake pads can be a rewarding experience. You can easily save hundreds of dollars. I've heard horror stories of people who were charged upwards of $400. Why pay someone else when you can do it yourself? Not only will your pocketbook be spared, but the experience myself, in my opinion, is worth it. I realize not everyone has the time or the space, but if you have about an hour in a flat area to work on, you can do it yourself. So what are you going to need to get started? As with every job, you will need the right parts and a flat area for the task. You're going to need the correct replacement brake pads. Brake pads are relatively cheap and can be bought at local stores like AutoZone or O'Reilly's. They can even be purchased online through places like Amazon. Next, you'll need a relatively flat parking space to work on your vehicle. Working on an incline or decline while the vehicle is raised can prove to be dangerous. So now you have the right brake pads and a flat surface to work on. What are you going to need as far as tools and protection equipment? If you already have some basic tools at home, then you're almost ready to go. You will need any kind of jack to raise your vehicle slightly. Your vehicle will more than likely come with its own jack, as well as a lug wrench to take the tires off with. You'll be in and around the underside of your vehicle, so I also recommend using a jack stand as well as the jack. Again, you can order these on Amazon, or you can just borrow them from a friend. Depending on what size of bolt is on your vehicle, you'll need a basic cheap socket set, and then lastly a C-clamp. If you don't have a socket set, you can use box wrenches, but that will take a little bit longer. Then you'll need a C-clamp or a brake caliper press tool, which can be expensive, so I recommend using a C-clamp, which also can be bought anywhere like Lowe's. Lastly, I'm going to recommend a few protection items that keep you safe and clean. A pair of gloves, steel-toe boots or shoes, and I would wear a pair of jeans. Now that you have everything to get the job started, let's get into the fun part. It's time to change out the old brake pads with the new ones. First, you need to loosen one tire at a time with the lug wrench. You only need to get the lugs slightly loose. Doing this will make it easier once you get off the ground to loosen them all the way off. Now place the jack under the frame, which is parallel to the ground right behind the front tire. Place the jack stand under the frame right beside the jack after you've raised it. Now remove the already loosened lugs from the tire and take off the tire and set it aside. If you have fancy rims, obviously I would set the rim facing up so you do not damage the rim. Now locate the two bolts on the back side of the caliper. The caliper is what holds your brake pads to the rotor. Using the right side socket, remove the bolts. You'll know when you did it right when the center piece of the caliper comes off. Turn the caliper upside down, make sure you do not stretch the brake line attached too much, and set it aside. You now see the brake pads on the rotor. Simply pop out the old pads and put the new ones in. It's that easy. Most brake pads come with new hardware and new clips. I recommend using those. Your caliper now needs to be readjusted to the size of the new brake pads, or it won't fit back on the rotor. Using an old brake pad, put it against the piston on the inside of your caliper. Now use the C-clamp and tighten it all the way down so that it'll fit right. Put the caliper back on and tighten the two bolts. Get those pretty snug, but not over tightened so you don't damage or strip out the bolts. Replace the tire back on your vehicle. Use the lug wrench to tighten the lugs. Again, do this slightly so that when you lower it down you can tighten them all the way up. And that's it. Now you know how to change your own brake pads, as well as what tools you need, the safety equipment, and why you should do it yourself. Working on your own vehicle can be a rewarding experience. Thank you.